Heather Lloyd-Martin, and I'm the CEO of SuccessWorks SEO Copywriting. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today's topic is about something that a lot of bloggers struggle with, which is what you can do to repurpose or reuse old blog posts. And the reason that we struggle with this, well, there's a couple reasons, is a lot of it is just time-based. Is when you are cranking out a lot of content all the time, there might be days where that's not possible. So maybe you want to take a day off. Maybe you want to have a vacation and you need to backfill some of that content. And you can only write so much gearing up for taking your day off or taking your vacation. And so it's nice to have something in your back pocket to where when you need it, you can start playing and massaging with older blog posts in order to give yourself some freedom. On the flip side of that, there might be days that you have incredible writer's block and you are trying really hard to come up with a topic and it's just not happening. So again, knowing how to repurpose, reuse these blog posts can help break you out of that blogger's block so you have something you can write about and you are able to tap into old blog posts to make that happen. So I was inspired by a recent post by Chris Brogan. He actually wrote about this and talked about how recycling blog posts are good for you as the writer, and it's also good for your readers too, because people like seeing older blog posts presented in a new way. So here are some ideas of how to make that happen. One is that you can group your similar content together in a guide-like format. So the example that Chris Brogan used is that he could include, for example, all of his blog posts on Google Plus and have a complete guide to Google Plus. And it would do really well around the blogosphere and it would be easier for him to pull together. It's just writing an introduction, including the links, and he would be good to go. So the advantage is that it's a great resource and it's easy to write. And as an aside, you could also do the same thing, but rather than putting it online, you can also consider creating, say, a PDF that folks can download and you can use for lead generation. So there's lots of ways to play with that if you have the type of content that would lend itself to a guide-like format. The second idea when you're stuck is to look at your analytics and think about, can I write a blog post about my 5 or 10 most popular blog posts of the quarter or of the year? And you see these types of roundup blog posts a lot, especially towards the end of the year, because we're talking about here's what people liked, here's what changed. So this is something that you can consider for your own site as well. As you can also look at similarities between your posts. So you might not be writing a guide necessarily, but it might be that you can start playing with ways that your posts can group together, like the 5 posts with the most amount of comments, and you can include them in a general blog post. You might want to list out your most controversial posts, the ones that got the most amount of buzz that way, or maybe the posts that you wrote that you really, really loved and nobody else seemed to love them as much as you. You can have a lot of fun in looking at your old blog posts and figuring out some ways you can group them together and include those in a roundup post as well. Another way you can repurpose old blog posts is if you have a new perspective. And if you work in an industry that's moving fairly quickly, chances are your mind has been blown a number of times. And what you might have written a couple years ago, or in some industries even 6 months ago, you might have shifted your perspective just a little bit. So that's an opportunity where you can actually share with your readers your new perspective, and you're able to repurpose the older blog posts as well, because you'd be, of course, including snippets and talking about how you might have thought X back then, but now you're thinking Y. So it's a more personal post and one that your readers would probably really appreciate. And finally, Don't forget video. And this is something that a lot of folks forget. It is so easy to feel like you have to hammer out a blog post all the time and have that blog post be exceptional and wonderful. But instead of looking at how much you need to write, maybe you can start shifting your perspective into, can I take something from an older blog post and then create a video around it instead? You can still have a blog post wrapper around the video, but videos reach people in a different way, and they also are another way that people can reach you throughout the search engines as well. So you can use your past blog posts to inspire your video content. Maybe just take a snippet from a point of one of your blog posts and then use that for something that would be brand new. And if nothing else, that might help freshen it up too for you. So if you're facing blogger's block and you haven't been able to generate some fresh ideas, shifting into creating video rather than writing everything might just be the kick that you needed to really energize things again. So have a lot of fun with it. So thank you very much. And if you would like more SEO copywriting goodness, I have a weekly newsletter that is released every Tuesday, and you can sign up at SEOcopywriting.com. And if you'd like to reach me, here's how you can. And I'm on Twitter at Heather Lloyd. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a great day.